The first message ever sent on the internet was LO, not hello, not connection established, just LO. October 29, 1969, a programmer named Charlie Klein, sitting at UCLA, was trying to type the word login to a computer at Stanford Research Institute, around 350 miles away. He got through the L and the O, then the system crashed. He picked up the phone and called the researchers at Stanford to ask what they received. They told him 2 letters, then nothing. The first thing the internet ever carried was half a word. Since then, the network Charlie Klein was using has become the largest structure humanity has ever built. It spans every continent. It runs along the ocean floor. It processes trillions of dollars in transactions every single day. It connects more than 5 billion people and carries something harder to measure than money. Nearly everything humanity knows, every book ever digitized, every medical record, every private conversation you've had in the last decade. And it has no one in charge of it. No CEO, no president, no governing body with the legal authority to make a single rule that every country follows. No headquarters, no master plan. There is no document anywhere that explains why the internet has to keep working. It exists because strangers decided to cooperate. Then other strangers joined. Then it got too big for anyone to stop. The question nobody actually asks, what is stopping the internet from collapsing right now?
To understand that, you need to know what the internet actually is. Most people picture something centralized, a giant server room somewhere, a cloud, a place. But the internet is not a place. It's a relationship between roughly 80,000 separate networks. Your phone company runs one, Amazon runs one, your government probably runs several, universities, cable companies, national militaries, each of them operating independently under different ownership in different countries with completely different rules. None of them are required to talk to each other, but they do. And the reason comes down to a piece of software almost nobody outside the industry has ever heard of. It's called BGP, Border Gateway Protocol. The name doesn't matter. Here's what does. Every time you load a web page, your request has to cross multiple networks before it reaches its destination. Maybe 15 of them, maybe 30. BGP is the system that tells your data which direction to go at each step. It's the routing logic holding the entire internet together, and it runs on pure trust. When a network joins the internet, it announces to every other network, I am the correct path to these addresses. Nobody verifies this. There is no central authority checking whether that claim is true. Every other network just believes it and updates its routing tables accordingly. BGP was designed in 1989 at a lunch break at an engineering conference in Austin, Texas. 2 engineers, Kirk Lockheed from Cisco and Yakov Rector from IBM, sketched the initial design on 3 paper napkins. 3. The protocol that now routes the majority of global internet traffic was born on restaurant napkins, built for a world where every connected organization was a university or a research lab that could be trusted without question. That world no longer exists. February 24, 2008, Pakistan. Pakistan Telecom received a government order to block YouTube. The Pakistani government didn't want its citizens watching a particular video, so Pakistan Telecom tried to redirect domestic traffic away from YouTube servers. They made a configuration error. Instead of telling only Pakistani networks that they were the correct path to YouTube, they told the entire internet. Every major network on Earth received the announcement, believed it automatically, because that's what BGP does, updated its routing tables, and traffic that was supposed to reach YouTube servers in California started going to Pakistan instead. YouTube went dark globally, not just in Pakistan, everywhere. 4 billion potential users, 2 hours, because of one misconfigured BGP announcement. Pakistan Telecom said it was an accident. Most observers believed them, but here's what that accident revealed. There was no safeguard that caught it before it spread, no layer that said, wait, verify this before it goes global. The internet just believed the announcement and routed accordingly. For 2 hours, the entire global internet trusted Pakistan Telecom more than it trusted YouTube. Now here's where it stops being an accident. January 27, 2011, Egypt. The Arab Spring protests had been building for days, and someone inside the Egyptian government noticed something specific. Egypt had only 4 major internet service providers, 4 phone calls. They made them. Within approximately 30 minutes, all 4 providers withdrew their BGP routes, told the rest of the internet they no longer existed, and Egypt vanished from the global network. Not filtered, not slowed down, gone. 4 million Egyptian internet users severed in under half an hour. The internet stayed off for 5 days, then the government turned it back on. Because in Egypt, the internet was centralized enough that 4 calls could reach every exit point. Egypt is not the only country where that math works out. But here's what neither of those incidents actually answers. Who was holding this thing together in the first place? For nearly 3 decades, the answer was one man. His name was Jon Postel, computer scientist at the University of Southern California, and from the early days of ARPANET, the military research network that eventually became the Internet, he was the person who maintained the Internet's address book. Every IP address range, every protocol number, who had which addresses, what pointed where. Nobody appointed him. He had the role because someone had to do it, he'd been doing it from the beginning, and everyone trusted him. That was the entire basis of his authority. In January 1998, Postel sent an email to 8 of the 12 root name server administrators, the people running the computers at the very top of the Internet's addressing hierarchy, and asked them to redirect their traffic through a server he controlled instead of the official US government server. 8 of them complied, because it was Jon Postel. For a brief window, one person with no legal authority whatsoever had redirected control of a critical piece of the Internet's core infrastructure. The US government found out and called him. He stopped. The window closed. But the point had been made. The Internet wasn't held together by institutions or laws. It was held together by trust deposited in specific people who had earned it across decades of quiet work. Jon Postel died 9 months later, October 1998, and the Internet had to figure out how to redistribute the trust that had been living inside one person, because that person was gone.
Every technical standard on the internet is technically voluntary, actually genuinely legally voluntary. Any of those 80,000 networks can stop following BGP tomorrow. There is no international law with real teeth, no army, no fine that matters. The reason they don't is this: the system only works if everyone participates. Walk away and you lose access to everyone else. So they cooperate, not because a law forces them to, but because the math makes cooperation the only rational choice. Economists have a name for this: a coordination game. Everyone benefits from following the same rules. Everyone loses if they don't. The difference between the internet and every other coordination game in human history, currencies, treaties, legal systems, is that this one has no referee at all. No king, no signed treaty, no enforcement body with real power, and it works. Go back to Pakistan, Egypt, Jon Postel. Pakistan Telecom took down YouTube for 2 hours. The internet came back. Egypt severed itself for 5 days. The internet came back. Postel redirected root servers and then stood down. The internet came back. None of those things broke it, because the internet was never a machine. A machine breaks and stays broken until someone fixes it. The internet is something else. It's a behavior. It's what happens when enough people in enough places keep deciding to stay connected even when there is no one telling them they have to. The whole thing runs on one single assumption: that you'll keep showing up. And so far, 5 billion of you have. Right now, in a building in Frankfurt, Germany, 2 networks that have never spoken to a human at the other organization are exchanging BGP routes. Their systems just talk automatically because 2 engineers at a lunch in Texas wrote the rules on napkins, and enough people followed those rules that following them became the only real option. There was no moment the internet was born, no ceremony, no ribbon cutting. It grew the way cities grow because people kept arriving and the infrastructure kept expanding to hold them. More than 5 billion people, held together by voluntary agreements nobody enforces. Protocols born on napkins. Trust deposited in people who were never appointed and never asked for the job. It should not work. And the first thing it ever said was 2 letters before it crashed: LO. Just someone trying to say hello, failing halfway through, and the network carrying it anyway.